Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Dobson777a here. Well, I think I've got everything working again. I don't know why this chat thing, I have to do a pop out chat every time. There's something goofy going on. I think Useless Tube just doesn't like me anymore. Anyways, we did a live stream last night and it was well received. Um, Someone asked me to look into a silver coin pauper law. Man, I looked everywhere. I couldn't find anything on that. So if you're the one that brought up that issue, if you could point me to that, I could not find that anywhere. Um, Went to a church today. I've been hunting around for a church. It's been a while, and I'm new to this area, which makes it really hard because I don't really know anybody. And so I went to another church today, and it was kind of interesting. They are taking on a huge debt, $1.3 million, because they want to do a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just sat there real quiet. They kind of had a meeting in the middle of the church service, and I was like, dang, I don't think I'd be doing this right now if I was them, based on what we think is going to happen. But anyways, I thought that was curious. I was reading a whole bunch of stuff today about the CDC moratorium on eviction. You basically couldn't evict anybody if it had to do with paying the rent. And I had talked extensively about the problems I had with one of my tenants. And lo and behold, they're actually caught up now, except for a bunch of late fees and court costs and that kind of stuff. And so we're on the right track. But there's 22 states. The attorney generals of those states are lobbying the Supreme Court to, excuse me, not overturn this, because there's actually been a number of judges that have called this unconstitutional, which I believe it is too. So they're lobbying to extend it again, to allow it to be extended, because basically the states don't want to take on any responsibility, which they're supposed to, for housing people that have lost their jobs and whatever else. So they're not paying like they used to. And it's a big problem right now. But there are a lot of people taking advantage of this, and that's the problem. But I'll tell you, the landlords are screwed because of this. There's no relief for the little landlords. There are for the larger companies that manage apartment complex or whatever. But the minor landlords, they are screwed. So, and the numbers I saw a while ago, I haven't looked it up recently to see if it's changed at all. It's like 20% of the properties are affected by this. So you think about that, 1 in 5, you're not getting your rent. That's a lot of money, And, you go a few months without rent, you are now going to be in trouble at the end of the year, paying your real estate taxes, any repairs, insurance, maintenance, that kind of stuff. You're going to be upside down in a heartbeat. And I saw another article. Let me bring that up. So BlackRock and other institutional investors are buying entire neighborhoods at huge premiums. They're just basically going in, and anybody that's essentially going to get evicted, that's the big thing. It's going to be a huge potential eviction wave. They got these large corporations that are right there to try to pick this stuff up, and they are. I talked about this. Right now, people are paying astronomical prices for places, and you don't even get a chance to bid on these things, because they're like all cash, and they're paying a premium on top of what is being asked. And so regular folks are just being blocked out of buying a house. So this looks like, we've heard these stories about you're not going to own anything and you're going to like it, right? That's what we've heard. So we're going to have to figure out how to get through this, because it looks like they don't want any small businesses. They just want the big businesses. Silver liner, yeah. Truthfully, before a year ago, I was doing a couple videos a day. I was really out there, and then I had some personal issues that cropped up, and I had to take care of business. And right now, I've got some free time, so I'm popping out a few things as things come to mind. But I've always kind of kept an eye on the market, and I've jumped in there when I saw that things were changing, and to kind of get people some ideas of what was happening. How many of you have seen this? This was really interesting. Arizona lawmaker warned Biden attorney general, if you touch the ballots, you go to jail, because the attorney general Merrick Garland said that he wanted to look into whether any federal laws were broken on what the Arizona what do you call it, election audit fines. And why would this guy get involved in this when they haven't changed anything? They're just looking. So I think they're on to something when people start poking, because that's telling you something. It tells you that they don't want anything to be discovered, and they're doing a deep dive, spending a bunch of money. So let's see, 20 War Child 20. Shout out from New Zealand. I don't know what the name of that city is. Aotearoa. I haven't heard of that before. Hey, Jeff Flaherty. Yeah, they only care about people who are lazy and useless, unfortunately. So that's another reason why you got to keep some significant reserves with like these rental properties to be able to keep ahead of everything that's going on. Hey, by the way, did you see this other article? The reporter who broke the Clinton Lynch tarmac story, he had been receiving significant death threats. Well, guess what? He's been found dead of an apparent suicide. So the Clinton body count is continuing to increase. I don't know if you had heard about that, but that's quite interesting. Lawrence Franklin is in the house. So I don't know. What do you think about? Should you be like really spending a lot of money? If we go through hyperinflation, let's put it that way. I've talked about before. If you think we're going to hyperinflation, you want to spend as much of your currency that you have laying around as possible, for things that you need. If you need roof, you need windows, you need, plumbing issues, ACs, whatever, you need to get that stuff done, because the prices are potentially just going to continue going through the roof. There are some, nothing ever goes like straight up. It'll come back down and then it'll go back up again. It's like a sawtooth as it walks up. So you might get a chance to kind of get something, a little bit of a discount later. But right now, I think we're on a trajectory where things are going to go pretty high, pretty fast, and it's going to be problematic. And I'm telling you, a couple of years ago, I told everybody, I said, please pull money forward. I still think that's the right idea, because think about it. If you need to go spend a couple grand to put in a decent garden that's going to give you, $30,000 worth of food savings, because food is going to go sky high, that's the way to go. If you got to, get some chickens and learn how to grow meat, like I do, and I show you every step. Golly, I haven't really spent the time. By the way, over on the community tab, I harvested my final. They probably could have stayed in the ground a little bit longer, but I'm actually just trying to keep ahead of things. So I harvested a ton of onions today, and these are the best onions I've grown yet. So each year I'm getting better and better and better. So take a look at those pictures, because it's really great when you see stuff like this happening. I ordered some onion bags. They're not going to be here till next week, but you kind of take them out and you set them. I've got them on like a drying rack. And so by the time they get here at the end of Friday or so, I'll start bagging things up and hanging them down in the basement. Yep, that's true. When you have something to hide, you don't like investigators. Uh, Lawrence is trying to save to get a parcel 20 or 30 miles from a city. That's your main focus. Yeah, I think that's a good idea too. It really helps if you're retired because then you don't have a super long commute. That's interesting over there. It looks purple, but it's just the night, the sun setting. It's giving a different coloration through there. I thought that was kind of cool. Uh, I've got to clean my office this week. I think I'm going to give that a priority, and I got to do my taxes, so that's a priority too. Anyways, I wanted to get on here and kind of talk about this. I don't know how many people watching have real estate. Let me go through some of the returns. Let me read something real quick though, because I did this before, but I want to remind you again. Even though maybe the miners are not exploding in value like we talked about, this is like an unbelievable amount of insurance that is going to tremendously pay off. So let's talk about this thing that I wrote. When you buy miners, you are buying the value of the precious metals in the ground. And the ones I'm trying to buy can pull out of the ground about half the cost of the spot price. As the spot price increases, the value of the precious metals in the ground increase, but also the profitability of the company tremendously increases. So much income is generated, share price and dividends go through the roof. During the last currency reset from 1970 to 1980, physical precious metals increased 10 to 15 times, and precious metal miners increased 40 to 100 times. And that's based on whether you have a large, a junior, or a micro. And that's because of the inherent leverage. I was trying to own a substantial number of shares spread across about 20 miners. Dividends in the Great Depression averaged about $70 a share or more. Inflation adjusted dividends would be $1,339 per share now. If you multiply that times the number of shares that I have, you'd get nearly $53.6 million per year just in dividends. So if we are in like a hyperinflation, that'll go a long ways towards paying real estate taxes, mortgage, insurance, utilities, food, etc. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this, because your precious metals, they're not necessarily going to increase as much as these miners, nor spin off dividends and everything. So again, you got to kind of spread it around. That's one of the reasons that I try to do these channels. I'm trying to give you some ideas so that it opens your eyes to how things work here. Let's see. Lawrence has to do his taxes also. Is it hot in Georgia? Oh man, it was hot today. I went out about 2:30, which is not normally what I do. I try to get out there like 8 o'clock in the morning and do some work, and then I'll go back out like even about 6 or 7 when the sun's kind of over the hill a little bit. It's going to really get hotter yet, but yeah, a lot of the wealthy people will buy farmland. Oh yeah, you know what? I was going to go look at the miner performance here. So year to date, GLD. So I'm going to go through the ETFs first. So GLD represents our gold, and it's up down 1.46 for the year. Platinum is up 6.75. Silver is only up 1.37. But, I put in your residential real estate because, I hold a lot of residential real estate rentals. And so REZ is up 26% for the year. And that's another reason why BlackRock and everybody else is out there buying up these properties, because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people, they're only going to be able to rent. And so this is going to be a for sure thing for a long time. And we may have an opportunity to go out there. I mean, as long as these big companies don't scoop them up before you can get there, but there may be an opportunity to pick up some more rentals. So if we go look at the large gold miners, up 6.27%. So that's pretty good leverage compared to like silver even, and gold. Gold is down, but large gold miners are up. GDXJ is down 2%. GOEX is up slightly positive 0.68. Large silver miners up 5.41%. So there's some leverage against silver, 1.37. And SILJ is 6.56. When we go look at our improved portfolio, so that portfolio is up 3.22 for the year, where our tangible asset portfolio is up 17.84, primarily due to the residential real estate. The improved portfolio is up 7.68%. And we are sitting at some of our favorites. I'll read off a couple of these that I have handed down to you over time. So we had, let me make sure I'm looking at this right. Yeah, I am. Okay. So VNNHF is one that John Duty gave us a while ago. And since we bought that, we're up 75%. So it was up higher than that before, but that's still a fantastic return for, I need to put together a table when we put that on the list and kind of follow these separately. Another one that we pointed out was CXBMF. That's up 151%. If I remember, that's a gold royalty, if I remember correctly. I think that was one that I picked off the list. And then the most recent one that I gave you was AMMPF, and that's up 19% over the last couple days. So that's a very recent one. But there's some really, really good returns we've got in here. I mean, I've got, let's see, how many of them are over 100%? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4. In fact, I got one that's 216%. So it's very good what the miners are doing. I'm very pleased with them. Let's see. How do I feel about Rio Tinto? I don't think I have that in my portfolio. I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, I have a lot of silver guys that were just saying that the miners are pumping up, but I don't know where they get the information for putting in their portfolios, but a lot of them, I think they're on these different boards and everything, and that's not what I do. I pay for intelligence, and the portfolios kind of show it when you do it that way. Remember, some of these, I'm front running Duty's portfolio. He, evaluates like 50 different stocks, but he only picks like the top 10. So I got to start looking at, 11 through 20 or something to see if there's something in there worth. And we've actually done real well doing that. And then some of the other things that I've chosen is when I just go off and say, well, let's just evaluate royalty companies. And when I go look at all the royalty companies, I go, well, wait a minute, there's a couple others in here besides the larger ones that maybe we ought to throw a few bucks. And we've done that and done very well with that. Yeah, call options are potentially the way to go. I tend to just, I'm kind of like get out there in front of the sea change. And I like to invest then and let the money come to me, the changes. I don't try to do momentum trading or anything else. I just look for the beaten down stuff and I'll go buy it and then get out there in advance of the wave that comes. And dang it, forgot my drink again. Why do I do that? I had it here. I did all my research and I said, oh, I need to go make dinner. So then I sat down and did my dinner and left my drink over there where I do dinner. That's the way it goes sometimes. Linda's Saying, give me a thumbs up. I agree with that. MFMLF. I don't know what MFMLF is. Is that micro miner? Let me get my phone. I'll do some real-time research here. Got to get my Yahoo up. All right. MF. What was that? Dang, a whole bunch of comments just came in. Where was that comment now? I forget what it was. Oh, there it is. MFMLF. Murrayville Mines. Oh, this is like a penny stock. It's 4 cents. Sorry, man. I don't really trade in something that low. That's way down there. I mean, the history of this thing has been anywhere from 3 cents up to 8 cents over the last year. So yeah, I wouldn't know anything about anything that dinky. And then somebody was asking about Rio Tinto. Let's look at Rio. I think that's the ticker, right? Rio. Yep. Now Rio's a little bit larger company. That's a $87 stock. You know, that doesn't really have a discernible trend if you look at year to date. Now the 1 year trend looks a little better. It was 55 a year ago, and now it's up to 87. So it's been making some progress. All right, now let's get caught up in all this stuff. Radakuma says he's mining stocks are the largest holding, followed by crypto, physical, and real estate. See, I'm kind of like the exact opposite. I've got real estate, then I've got gold, then I've got silver and platinum. So that's my physicals, and then I start putting my miners on top of that. So you're building this pyramid as you go up. So the foundation is stuff that pays me every day. Yep, the politicians are part of Big Giant Club. Chung Choi just gave a thumbs up. I bought Hecla money a couple years ago at $145 a share. Well, that's pretty good then. What is Hecla nowadays? This stuff is just kind of buy it and forget it. What's the Hecla ticker symbol? I can't remember it off the top of my head. I may already have it in here. Let's look. Let's see. There it is, HL. All right, let's look at HL. Yeah, so even a year ago, Hecla was $3 and now it's $9. So that's doing fantastic. So if you got it at $1, you're almost on a 10 bagger already. That's fantastic. Newfound gold. I need ticker symbols when I'm doing this. I don't know a lot of the ticker symbols off the top of my head. Man, I made a mistake. I was out there in the garden the other day, and I noticed my plants were eaten all up by these Japanese beetles. And so there's a treatment using diatomaceous earth. And I ended up, I've got this like little pump sprayer. You put that in and you put it on there. Well, the doggone stuff is quite an irritant. And I thought it was windy enough to when I was doing it, I was keeping it off of me and all that. But I must have still got some on my hand. And then you end up scratching your eye. And next, you know, your eye is just driving you crazy. So I went and got these gel drops. And that seemed like that really helped. But I have been miserable because of that stuff. They're like little diatoms. That's why it's called diatomaceous earth. We used to use them in pool filters and stuff. But the thought process is you put that on the plant, the beetles get on there, and then this stuff gets in between, you know, their hard case of the beetle, and it ends wear them raw, and they end up getting infected and died. So, anyways, it's that's the way it works, and it seems to kind of get things going. I also set up these traps around the yard and everything too, and so I've got to put new baits in those traps, and that'll kind of get things caught up. But I also had potato bugs. I noticed it's like all of a sudden, you know, my plants did not really take off this year like they have normally. I'm probably about a month behind, and I noticed normally I'd already had a lot of harvest by this point. So I'm already getting eaten up instead of, and so I'm trying to protect what I got before, you know, it gets all eaten up. So you're up 650%. That's fantastic. You know what's going on? Silverliner, he says, do you think they'll ever be allowed to tax unrealized gains? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're fishing for contributions. So whenever they said, hey, we're going to go tax the rich, they're basically telling the rich, you know, you better start writing some checks to our campaigns and stuff. Otherwise, we're going to go after you. I honestly believe that's what this is all about. Why would the wealthiest people basically in the United States, which are Congress and senators and everything, why would they cut their own throats? They won't do that. They all own all this stuff. They're not going to do that. That'd be crazy. So it's just a shakedown. So Pension Prepper has put a Newfound Gold. I got to do that first. NFG. Well, there's two different ones. There's Natural Fuel Gas Company, and then there's Newfound Gold Corp, which is NGFF. So a year ago, Newfound Gold Corp was $1.87, and now it's $12. So, you know, this is again the power of the micro miners, folks. You got to have a little bit of that, but I mean, these things are amazingly volatile, but they can really do something for your portfolio. So I like to have a little bit of those, but not a lot. What is this other one? NFGFF. Oh, okay. That's the same thing. Yeah. Yep. We'll see. Right now, I don't think a lot of people, I mean, if you don't advertise what you got, people aren't going to know what you got. So just try to keep things on the down low. You know, do as much as you can. Do the best you can. That's what I always say, right? Do the best you can. It amazes me that I'm only like 3 years into doing a lot of this, maybe 3.5. And the progress that I've made in gardening is unbelievable. I mean, it really, I just don't know how to keep, like in my lower level, I've got like weeds galore, and I don't know how to keep that under control because I don't like to put chemicals down, like weed and feed or something like that, because I don't want that in my food. So I gotta come up a way with that, but it's way too big an area to be out there, like weeding by hand. But I'm gonna have to do something. I think what I'm gonna do this next year. I'm gonna at the end of the year I'm gonna put like a big ass tarp out there. I think that might be the way to do it. We'll see. So a big ass tarp. So what is a George Carlin line? Let me see. Oh, okay. I think he's talking about what Silverliner said. Big giant club, and we're not in it. Yep. Yeah, we talked about Hecla earlier. It's done very well. We will have to make very tough decisions for family. It's going to be a problem. I mean, I've got some friends in Kiwanis, and I've shown a few of them what's going on here, but they're just refusing to do anything. And so I'm a little concerned that I've shared what I'm doing to people that aren't going to do anything. So, you're going to have to be turning away people because you're going to take care of your family first. If you can get them here, that's what I'm hoping I can. I'm hoping we can get everybody up here and we'll do it, but it's going to be family first. I was trying to remember this Clint Eastwood movie, The Outlaw Josie Wales. Do you remember when they went out? There was a cabin that was like in the middle of where I can't remember which Indians were. We'll just say Cherokees or something. It was somebody else, but in any event, they were going to be under constant attack, and he was talking about how you just got to get mean, and you're going to have to. It's all about survival, and he was telling them about slapping a hot iron if you get shot to stop the bleeding, and just keep going. You can't stop. It may turn into that. I'm getting some things. There must be some spectacular thing in the sky tonight. I've got this little app that tells me when you have certain alignments of planets and stuff. And so when the weather's permitting, the clouds are clear or whatever, sometimes you can see the thing, sometimes you can't. So what do you think? I think they are saying it's going to be an astronomical number of people that are going to be foreclosed on. And it's not just houses, it's apartments and everything else. So this is going to be a problem. This almost gets to, if you've got someone that's trying, this is the old, you might be better off trying to stick with them because it can always get worse, especially if they're not going to extend the thing. I've always just tried to keep working, do the best you can, because as long as the folks are really trying and they're not screwing you, that's still like the best thing to do. So I will tell you, a few years ago, and I've got it under the prepping thing. If you go in there, I actually put the prices of all this stuff, and I said, excuse me, the best value there is, and the thing that stores about the longest is the rice. So you need to be looking at the rice, and then I even showed you how to make it where it'll last like 10 plus years by putting it in these Mylar bags with desiccants and also using dry nitrogen to seal. So I've got hundreds of pounds of that, but you need to also do seasonings and everything. Don't forget seasoning. So many people are going to have hundreds of pounds of rice and beans, and they're not going to have any stinking seasoning. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know about you, but I can't eat white rice by itself. It's horrible to me. But if I can throw uh, some of this, I have to show you I don't know if I showed you my recipe or not. I got a really good recipe using chicken bouillon cubes and some of this powdered butter flavoring, and it's actually really good. Yeah, let me tell you some of the canned meat stuff that I use. Any of you like corned beef or roast beef hash? I keep a good stock of that because that's got potatoes and meat in it, and you cook that up with some onions and some eggs. You got a fantastic meal. And I'll eat that for breakfast probably once a week. And you're gonna have to look if you want to get the low sodium stuff, but I'm not eating that a lot. But I really like that. I do have spam. I do have the Vienna sausages because those are like a quick snack. You're gonna need make sure you got your soap and everything all stocked up. Hopefully you've got water so that you can cook, potable water, all this stuff. I mean, it's a pretty big laundry list. You need to make sure you got like hurricane lamps or candles. Um, I've got these really nice. I'll have to, I had to start bringing something like that to every one of the shows so you can see. But we used to have these little table candles that have like the glass around the outside, and so it's got a wide bottom, so it's not easy to knock over anything. And those are actually things that are reusable. You get the wicks and you can just melt more wax and put it in there, and it'll work fantastic. Spam lasts a long time. So let's talk about this. If you look on the top of a can and it says best by date, that doesn't mean you throw it away when it reaches that date. You can do a little research and you'll find out that literally a lot of this stuff will last sometimes many years past that best by date. Now, the only thing that you got to be careful of is things that are acidic. Like I've got some tomato paste in the cabinet, and I realized that stuff is 6 months past the best by date, and they said for acidic stuff you need to toss it. I tried some the other day. It didn't make me sick, but I'm like, I don't think I want to take a chance. So I've got to go pick up some more. I've always liked spam and eggs in the morning. So Lawrence says, I don't see giving food to a fool is a good idea anyways. Eventually you'll run out of things to give away. And when they get desperate, these family and friends are going to be unfriendly or not going to be friendly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have a hideout spot. I think this is, you got to fight for what you got. And they're going to have to take a heavy toll to try to take what I've got. That's the way I look at it. I think most people are so pussified these days. It's not going to be like what you think, anyways, except for in the horrible cities that we already know that are having trouble. So if you're living those things, you're kind of SOL. But if you're in more of the conservative states, you're in better shape. So, anyways, I just kind of wanted to get on here, keep my face out there in front of you guys, answer any questions you got. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going this year so far. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens with the stock market. There's so much that I'm seeing that they're thinking that there's going to be a fairly sizable correction, and then the Fed is going to have to step back in again. So we'll see. Might have some buying opportunities and some miners and stuff. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. So anyways, I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.